to the bad guy. Yeah, Chico. Yeah, Chico. You're talking to the bad guy. Toothpicking your eye. I'm that guy. Hey, yo. Look, something happened to these, something happened to you, okay?
What's going on, everybody? It's Coach Pavlus on SMACM World. I got a very special guest. Introduce yourself, please.
Charlie Pavlus.
What's going on, Coach Pavlus, man? Appreciate you coming, man. Coach Pavlus is the head coach at St. Martin Middle School, man. And,
high school?
High school. St. Martin High School. Now, he does oversee the middle school, but he's done a great job there. How long have you been there now, Coach?
Careers lasted 21 years, 19 years been at St. Martin. And first 5 was finishing my degree, redoing my degree. Coaching 8th and 9th grade basketball, driving a school bus, driving back and forth to school, doing what you got to do to try to get to where you want to be.
Yeah, most definitely, man. Coach Pab, what I do on this show, man, want everybody to give everybody they just do, man. Appreciate what you do for St. Martin, the community, what you do for your young athletes, your student athletes, teaching them how to be a student first for an athlete, man. Giving them life lessons, man. I've been watching you quite some time. I know for at least past 10 years since I've been back home from college, man. You've done an excellent job of building the right culture at St. Martin, and I hope you continue to do that and get that gold ball, man. I know that's the ultimate goal, man.
Yeah.
I'm always pulling for every team down here in South Mississippi, period. Just hope you get that gold ball. But I really appreciate what you do for the youth, Coach.
Well, I appreciate it. Gold ball speaking, that's why you pull the whistle out, and everybody talks about it. If you're not talking about it, maybe need to reevaluate. Not everybody can get there, but it also helps you at the end. There's only one team. There's only one 6A team at the end of the day that's winning their last game.
Right.
And we've been fortunate, during that time, that stretch, that 4 or 5 year run where we were as good as anybody in the state.
Right.
When you're in the Elite 8, you're in the South States, and you're playing state championship level competition.
Definitely.
Somebody's got to go home. Somebody's upset, and then you got to talk about life, But even you losing the state championship game, you're not happy. You don't want to take pictures. You don't. It's a long bus ride home. You don't.
Don't want to talk.
And I've been blessed to be around some winners as well. Your Owen Millers, your Seaber Wyndhams, and talking. But the bus ride home, and I understanding this, if it ever did happen. This is the way my mind works, and I'm sure theirs does as well. On the bus ride home, win or lose, you're thinking about next year. So it's going to be now you win one, and now how do we get back? So the cycle doesn't end. You get a nice ring that you can't wear most of the time because it's too big, and but it's what everybody strives to do, and our bigger job and our daily job is creating, outstanding citizens, future fathers, brothers, and hopefully role models and mentors to the young Yellow Jackets and Admirals and Indians, whoever there. That's the goal. That's what it is. We're trying to do every day.
Oh, most definitely. That's ultimately the goal, man. I want to kind of go into your journey, Coach, man. I know the St. Martin coach, but it's a story behind it. I want to kind of talk about your prep high school career and your college career and how that, mapped out, because, I'm always intrigued on people's journey.
I grew up in Ocean Springs, birth to 15 years old, Christmas in 9th grade, and never met my father growing up, and my mom married, divorced, and dated a guy that had a job offer in Washington, D.C., and I never left the coast to do anything. A vacation for me was going to Ocean Springs Beach, so never been anywhere. And so mom, literally 2 or 3 weeks before Christmas, she's like, hey, we're moving to Washington, D.C., a culture shock, and moved up there, and I was there. Finished out 9th grade there, played basketball, played football, and the academics there were just the pace. And I fell behind and wasn't able to play 10th grade year because of, failing some classes. Got my grades right, summer school going into my junior year, was good to go. Went to a Washington Redskin football camp with the team, first time on artificial turf, and broke my ankle. I thought I sprained it, but ended up breaking my ankle and had to have 2 surgeries. Get into the doctor's office, and he says, we got 2 choices. We can break it back into place, or we can, have surgery and you can be 100%. We'll have surgery 100%. It'll be 7 months. You have to have 2 surgeries. started counting up on the old fingers there and realized I was going to miss football and basketball my junior year, and obviously devastated. And although I was able to play, I healed. They put a plate and 8 screws in and healed, was able to play, had to have surgery again, and had to wait for the holes to heal up. And so it was mentally it was tough. Being away from home, all my brothers, my friends, being in a place that, you're moving around a little bit there, but these are the things that make you. And it was the best thing that ever happened to me basketball-wise. Man, I played against some unbelievable talent in that area, and it made me a much better basketball player. And ultimately, I had a chance to come home, although my mom was still there. Chance to come home, I was going to live with a buddy in Ocean Springs, but he had a small couch. I did not fit, and the guy that my mom married and divorced happened to live in St. Martin, and I just didn't want to go back where I was at. I knew I want to play college basketball, and he was living in St. Martin. That's not a place I would have chosen at that time. That was my only place to go, and the Lord works in mysterious ways, and went and lived with my former, stepfather and Joe Barlow, Mike Perkins. These people came into my life, and 1 year at St. Martin, that is my home now. Got there, played with Sam Murray, Julius Hilliard, Matt Noblet, Nicky Tillman, a really good group of guys. We were able to win 20-plus games. Not real deep, it was about 6 deep. We were the number one. That was actually the Coach Ladner. That's when he started getting it rolling. It was his first district championship, but we were the number 1 seed going to district tournament, and we were up about 35, and Coach still had us in, and Sam Murray goes down and might as well have broken his ankle, and we ended up getting upset the next round by D'Iberville, who we beat 30 twice, and upset us, and high school ends. I was fortunate to get an opportunity to go to Mississippi Gulf Coast on scholarship with Sam. Sam and I went together, and I got there, and things didn't work out. Life happens. And kind of finished the year there. Went back up north where my mom was. I'd been 2 years without her. Went back to Virginia, and that summer started working. Found a Division II school up there, Shepherd College in West Virginia, that talked to a coach who coached at Ole Miss, and we worked some things out. I was getting back in school, and unfortunately my mom, a week after she turned 39, passed away. Had a heart attack in her sleep, and so now you're sitting out there, no dad, no mom. Basketball, as important as it is, doesn't pay the bills at that moment. So, long story to get her back down here, get her cremated, get her down, and ultimately working three jobs, thinking I'm supposed to be back in school. I'm going to JC, trying to take classes. I'm failed PE because I couldn't go. I had to work, I had to pay bills, I had to get a car, and so it just really put things into perspective of everybody's got dreams and they've got these things they want to do. When them obstacles come and adversity strikes, it has prepared me for the things that now that I try to be for our young men. I was poor growing up. I didn't have, it's times that the lights were turned off. I didn't have Jordans. I was buying stuff from like the Dollar Tree to wear and things growing up. We had Fred's over in Ocean Springs, and all those obstacles. Now when you never want to lose anything, but if I have a player lose somebody, I've kind of been there. You kind of go through those things, and but that's where I went with my wife. When I was at my darkest in 1997, we met, and
Yeah, sure. Y'all back on the coast in '97.
Yeah, back home, and in '97 again we met, and we've been together since, and started working casinos and stuff like that, trying to make a little more money. And Cliff Chin, a guy that I knew, was coaching a little league basketball team, and asked me to come coach the team. He said, "Look, I got a team, man. I think we got a good team. Come on." I was bartending at the Beau Rivage, and I opened the Beau Rivage up, pool bartender out there, making really good money, and I always wanted to coach. You want to coach or you want to play in the NBA. I knew since I was 12 I wanted to coach. Right. Everybody wants to play in the NBA, but not everybody's going to get there.
1%.
And so started doing a little league, and in doing that, I was back in the St. Martin community, and the guy that coached me was still the athletic director, and you always go see your old coach, and he said, "Look, if you'll get back in school, I'll give you." I did that 2 years, coached Little League for 2 years, and that group that I coached ended up being the group that compiled with Robin Sykes when
Yeah.
he moved to St. Martin. They
Right.
ended up winning the championship in 06. So I was able to coach some really good kids and make some really good relationships. But Coach Perkins told me, hey, if you get your bus license, which I already had because I was driving a limo. If you drive a school bus for us to be an employee of the school, I'll give you the 8th and 9th grade.
Got a lot of hats, Cole.
Yeah, man. And so I did that. I did that for 2 years. And when those kids that I coached in the Little League, they just happened to be coming into 8th and 9th grade. They went to JV. I went to JV with them for 2 years and worked with Shay Scarborough, assistant principal at St. Martin now. Unbelievable man, great family. Brought me in and let me be a part of his program. And then my student teaching came. Because I was getting up, driving the school bus 5 o'clock in the morning, driving my route, being done about 6:40, getting in my car, driving to South Alabama for that last 2.5 years, being there by 8.
Dang.
The kids see the easy stuff, Kids,
what I
I got the Jordans now, I didn't have them then,
Right.
and they didn't, they don't get to see those things. And
Right.
and the young coaches, you try to tell them, it's not always be assistant for a year and you become a head coach, and so I did that for 5 years, and ultimately once I was able to get my degree, somehow St. Martin didn't have a teaching spot available, and make no mistake, I felt some type of way about that after being there for that time, and Coach Wyndham found out and scooped me up, and I was able to go over there with him, and the 1 year there. And look, you have to learn things on the way, and we were almost identical in our philosophies and things, and we just meshed so well, which is why our relationship, he is my closest friend now, and I learned a lot from him there. It's not X's and O's. It was dealing with people and becoming a better person, and ultimately Lou Hardy got the Harris Central job, and then I guess my name got passed around, and Long Beach gave me a call. Didn't even put in for it. Wasn't looking. I was happy with Coach Wyndham. And they gave me a call. Was able to go over there and had an unbelievable year. Inherited 9 seniors, Savalas Townsend, Micah McNally, just 2 guys that kind of stood out. They just every day they're knocking on my door. We go on practice. I lived. Micah's parents had a duplex. I lived in. Savalas Townsend was 50 feet from me. Mike McNally was 100 feet from me.
Yeah.
So your 2 best players are literally, and they see me walking in my door every day, and we were able to have a great season, even though Savalas broke his foot and had to play 10 games without him. And we're in the district with Picayune, #1 team in the state, Stanislaus, #2 team in the state. Kelton Thompson had the Bay High kids that ended up winning the state championship. They were young, they were sophomores, 07, 08. So we're in a tremendously gifted district, and so I was there 1 year, and the St. Martin job came open, and had no intentions of going back. But when home calls, you got to look at it, and ultimately came back and took over a program, and they have been struggling. They had 2 winning seasons in 13 years since I graduated. And Coach Sykes was a part of those 2 seasons, and they were able to win a championship. And Coach did a great job. I'm not 100% sure why they struggled at times, but Coach did a great job. He was a great person. I don't know. Sometimes it doesn't work. Right. And I was able to come in, and the kids bought in day one, and we 5 wins the year before I got there, and we won 18 the next year. Lost the district championship game, and then we started to run. And we won the district the next year, and then opened a new school.
Nice job.
We were able to make a run, win 3 district championships in a row, defeating Biloxi. Which was a task in itself. Your best friend right there.
Right.
That's a tough. Unless you get in that deal, you're excited, you want to feel good, but for you to win,
you still got a relationship with
you got to, for you to win, and that was tough. Like that was tough to beat somebody you care about. You're celebrating in their defeat, and it's tough. And in doing that, so humble. Caring about our program, knowing where our program was trying to get to, and so I've been blessed. That's the story to get to where we're at, and you can't. Nobody does it by themselves. Right. I wish Kelton Thompson. they come through Jay Ladner and they're with him forever. And like I didn't necessarily have that. I was kind of on my own. You had to learn things on your own.
Learn on the job.
Yeah. So which in turns can make you stronger. So I you know, you don't have that pedigree. Owen talks about Bert, you know, about Coach Jenkins, and so you know, on one hand you wish you had that to pull on, but on the other hand, you get to make all the mistakes and learn. We fail every day. You know, you get to learn from failure and create what is yours, and then be able to turn it over, and now what is theirs. So,
man, Coach, man, you really had a great journey. What I did take from it, you not being able to meet your father and have a relationship with him. Do you use that to make sure, like, the kids, you can impact the kids, like, if they might necessarily have a father at home, or he's deceased, or just not, they don't have a father figure? Do you make sure, every day you got an opportunity to impact a young man's life?
First of all, let's look at the stats. We're coaching the most single-parented sport in America. I'm a single-parented kid. My coaching philosophy is through the game of basketball. I mean, that's my best. Through the game of basketball, I have the opportunity, and that's the biggest word in this phrase, I have the opportunity to positively influence young people. The only thing I teach a child how to do is bounce a basketball. I failed them. So, man, I try to live by that. And we do some other things that some other programs don't do. They don't have to do them. The Universal Studios type stuff. We raise money. We bring our team every year to Universal Studios. We try to go to as many camps as possible. The summer's jam-packed with, USM, Florida State, University of West Florida, Gulf Shores, big deal down there. As parents, we always want to give our kids things that we didn't have. As a coach, you want to give your players things that you didn't have growing up. But, we haven't been able to do it. COVID kind of stopped it, but our kids, we go read to the elementary schools. We got to get back to doing that. Every Christmas, we adopt kids, less fortunate kids for Christmas. We go raise the money. We go shopping. The kids go shopping. That's one of the best things that we do. We divide them up. We give let our seniors if we got 4 kids, we'll take 4 seniors. They'll pick the players to go, and everybody wants to be on. I want the little boy. Yeah. They want this, and then we go shopping. I give them the money, and we get the wish list from the kids. We let them go do it, and that is a journey. Like that day, you always touch people because you're in there. We're in there in our St. Martin gear, and people, what are y'all doing? And it always inspires people, and always get extra donations and doing things like that. But the tears and of joy and humility when we go back to the gym and watching them rap presents is always I'm no great rapper myself. My wife does a great job, but watching them rap presents is a chore. My wife kind of oversees that, and then we go deliver them, and that's an eye-opening experience. You're talking about things beyond basketball. I know we're here talking about, but this is to me, the most important thing we do every year is that.
Absolutely.
And the thing that will probably be remembered the most are the Universal trips and the Florida State in the dorm rooms and the hotels and the things. 20 years from now, they're not going to be talking about if we won or lost to Gulfport or if we beat Biloxi, they're going to be talking about those things. And sometimes you got to take a deep breath. We all want to win, but somebody's got to lose every game. And for every win, there's a loss. Right. And I've been blessed. We've won. We've been at the top. We've been a number 1 team. We've beaten the Gulfports. We've beaten the Biloxis. We've beaten the Harrison Centrals. At times. But who cares now? Right. All they care. Right. It's about what you're doing right now when it comes to the basketball part. The other stuff is longevity, and I'm blessed every day. I'm blessed to have an unbelievable administration. Dina Holland, principal. There's not a better principal out there. There's no principal that loves her athletics. I've been some places, seen some things where you don't really see her administration. Yeah, she's not there because she's on duty. She's there because she loves the Yellow Jackets. She's running up and down the field in football, and she's on the stage right by my office, and she's just, I can't ask for a better leader as a principal. And then when you have those other people, Coach Scarborough, we have coaches, and we have Shay Scarborough's former coach, Mary Miller, who's won a state championship in high school basketball, and got Coach Williams, my assistant coach, is going into administration. So hopefully we're lucky that we'll get, hopefully You know, we have him as administrator next year. So, I mean, we're in a place that, if you're a coach, you want to be.
Right.
And they allow me to bring, like, my former player. I'm there today. I had 5 former players there helping me with practice. So they allow them to be there. Because not everywhere, you know.
You can't do
you
it
know.
everywhere. You're right.
So I've had some unbelievable players and unbelievable young men. And it's not always your best players. The best players don't always make the best coaches.
They're a program player. That you're a player, you know.
So I'm thankful that they come back. They helped me during COVID. Tim Downs, Austin Lee, every day. Never had to ask. You know, the ones at Alcorn, one was at Ole Miss. They were virtual, and every day they were at practice. Every day. Christmas time, I tried to give him some money, and, you know, one took it. You know, he buy something. Another one's like, Coach, no, I'm here for it. And Austin Lee rarely ever played, and he's there every day. He was there at the All-Star game last night. He just wants to be a part of it. That's his program. Yeah. And I think that's what's important. You know, we're developing a family and a brotherhood that will be there forever. So.
Definitely, man. So you did mention the All-Star game, the showcase, South Mississippi All-Star Showcase that you and Coach C went on, and y'all had over about 10 years now.
This was year 11. COVID took a year, so it was the 10th game.
10th game.
So it was the 10th game.
Yeah.
Obviously, we know we're down here. You get the major newspaper is in Jackson, so the Clarion Ledger. You know, if you're not on their list, sometimes kids get left off, and obviously started with kind of Isaiah Cannon not being offered at USM, and some of these players like, how can this happen? And so we need to. What can we do to bring that light to some of our guys who we know are talented enough, and now we created it at the right time. You're talking about Devin Booker, Ed Simpson were the 2 main guys at that time. Krista Reed on the girls' side.
Yep.
So unbelievable, legacy that they started. And when you put those people in the gym, everybody's coming. So an event that started with when Devin Booker's in it, he didn't even play in the state All-Star game as a junior. He played in ours, and he didn't even play in the North-South game. So we feel
that was huge.
we feel like, man. So coaches, because we can't do it. Coach Wyndham and I are just 2 people with an idea. Every coach, the 24 schools that represent South Mississippi throughout our districts, boys and girls, so that's 48 teams, are represented in that game. Awesome. And we send out the thing. We get nominations from every coach. Now, not every coach nominates.
Yeah.
Some don't nominate. And then we invite every coach. We have a coaches little get together at Woody's Roadside. Great people there, the Glowners. They reserve the top floor for us. Coach Wim and I pay for the first $100 worth of tasty beverages and appetizers and things like that, and a meeting of all the coaches, and so they show up. We get about 25, 30 deep in there. The nominations are there. So our All-Star game, it's not like we're calling and inviting a kid. We're taking the nominations, and then the coaches. I only have 1 vote. Like this year, Coach Wyndham and I created this event. I had one. I got him with me now. I had Caleb as an underclassman and Dakari. So it's not a Coach Pavlus. I only had 1 kid, in this event. So I'm 1 vote. Yeah. So, we go down the list and we kind of get the automatics out the way. Sam Murray is an automatic. Nick Crass is an automatic, and Corey Lombard and Duran Paris. Once they're out the way, we're trying to find the top 20 seniors, top 20 underclassmen. Then we'll go vote on the rest of the guys. Yeah. And once that happens, then we establish. Coach Wyndham and I always take a team. We always want to keep our foot in this thing. So we always have a team, and then we'll get 3 coaches to do the other boys, and then 4 coaches to do the girls. And then we let them kind of draft. Right. And that's always
that's good. That's
it's pretty cool. You get there, and so ultimately, like Coach Wyndham and I, for example, we always have a team. Well, let's say Coach Sykes and Coach Miller have a team, and if you're a player, you're not selecting players now; they're already selected. So now you're pulling from the pool. And let's say Coach Sykes has 2 kids, and Coach Miller has 3. Well, that's 5 that they already have. Let's say Coach Wyndham and I only have 3 combined. Well, then we get first pick. That's how you decide who gets first pick. I got you. And so then that determines if you pick a kid, if you pick a Pascagoula kid, you have to take all their kids. So if they have 3 kids that are in the pool, you have to take all 3. You don't want them going against you. That's not good. So that's how it gets dictated who's. Okay. And we just do home and away as opposed to east and west, because again, you get a chance to Moss Point kids never get to play with the
Right.
Gulfport kids. You know,
Right,
Gulfport
right.
and Harris Central play together all the time.
Yeah.
So this gives it, you know, it's a unique deal.
Yeah.
Now
I
AAU
like
is
that. I
kind
like
of the
that. I
travel
like that.
ball and stuff is kind of they play together a little more than we did originally.
Right.
But
I like
yeah,
that,
man, it's
That's
created
nice creative
you know
way.
friendships and things that you know. Look, we trying. We always want to try to leave it better than I think the game is it's on its own wheels now. We don't
Yeah.
have, you know, we're just kind of along for the ride, and again, we can't do it without the coaches,
Right. Most
without the players buying in, without the community. I mean, you can tell it was packed last night.
That's
You
good.
know,
It's
so
tough.
and when you got great players, people want to come. It makes it easy.
Yeah, most definitely, man. Coach Pav, I got one question before I let you go, man.
All right.
I want to ask you about, you know, there's been a lot of hoopla about the shot clock being placed in the high school. What are your approach on it, and do you feel like it would hurt or help high school basketball?
It's going to help the organized, and it's going to hurt the unorganized. I mean, that's
So-
the truth. That might not be the, you know, I mean,
Right.
that's
Wow, this is your answer.
yeah,
This is
it
your
is
answer.
what I
That's
mean.
what I want to know.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
first of all, and I know you've had some coaches and they've talked about college.
Yeah.
But we're talking about how many percent go to college.
Yeah, it's
So-
a small percentage.
Yeah, so yes, we'll be preparing that number, sure, but in the grand scheme of things, that's what they see on TV. That it's more coaches as coaches, we believe we should have it. You know, you talk about holding the ball, doing all that, but that's part of the
Yeah.
game. But
Yeah,
but,
it
but
is.
yeah,
Yeah,
if you're organized, it's gonna help you.
Yeah.
If you're not organized, because it takes a little more coaching. You know
Most
your
definitely.
sets have to. You know, if you're just a motion guy, if you're mainly just a motion guy, you got to have some quick hitters. You got to have some, you know, if you're just a dribble drive guy, then it comes down to Duran Parrish holding it to the end, beating his man off the dribble.
Yeah.
So, you know, NBA runs the best quick hitters, college runs the best continuity stuff. So we're all thieves of the things, and so you know, you go find some things that work for you. We run way too many plays at St. Martin, you know, but we've
That's
developed
good,
them over the years, and it's hard to let go of them, you know. But when Ed Simpson's running a play, you know, maybe I don't have an Ed Simpson, so maybe those 4 or 5 plays disappear until I get somebody that can do what he does. And what I try to do, we talk about it, the toolbox. You know, Caleb Bradley sitting here brought it like he's got a really good toolbox. Is it complete yet? No, we're still trying to, you know, get him where he doesn't have a weakness.
Right.
At least that can be exploited on a high school level. He can post up. He can knock down a 15-footer. He can knock down a 3. You score in all 3 levels, then it makes, I can put you in any play.
Right.
But if a kid can only go right, if a kid can only catch and shoot, he can't shoot off the bounce, well then I try to put them in the sets and the situations that makes them successful, as opposed to asking a kid that can't to do that. I'm not a big motion guy because, you know, everybody touches that thing. There's some kids that when they touch it by a guy, they might shoot it every time they get it. So some people need to be screening.
Right.
you know?
Right. Man, so appreciate that. Then I got one more question. I said this gonna be definitely the last one, Coach.
I know I'm
top five players that you have coached at St. Martin.
Well, you could just take that team. You know, it's hard, and it started with the first group I had because they changed the culture.
Okay.
The Speedo Barlow, the Eugene Walton, the Dwayne Maurice, the Dartez Beatty, the Gyrus Carriers, that group, Brandon Walkers, that group, Rico Palomares, you know, they changed how it is we're viewed. It's not me.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm driving the bus, but you know, they want getting off that bus. You know, I ain't scored a bucket for St. Martin in 1995. You know, my shots don't count no more.
Right.
Those guys changed.
Gotcha.
And Darryl Warwick, you know, those guys changed how we're viewed and what it is to be a Yellow Jacket. You know, the charges, the diving on the floor, and we evolve as we go. But those guys started it. But I mean, Ed Simpson's the gold standard at St. Martin, and it's not just. And for people listening, 3.8 GPA, all honors student, 13 Division I offers, offered from
Scholar
Princeton,
athlete.
Yale,
Scholar
turned them
athlete.
down to go to Middle Tennessee.
Scholar athlete.
He's now working for Boeing. He's a mechatronic engineer. He's working on the next Air Force One. So
That's awesome,
he's working on that every day.
Yeah.
2025, the new Air Force One will come out.
That's awesome.
So that's what that guy's doing.
Yeah.
So you talk about Ed Simpson, you have to go Roderick Sykes. Yeah, Roderick Sykes. Although we only had him his junior, senior year. I mean, if he was there the whole time, that extra year, statistically, he'd be at the top. But that one year with some studs that we've had, but Roger Sykes has to be mentioned. You're talking about pro basketball player.
Right.
Stacey St. Julian is our all-time leading scorer. He's the only one. We've been blessed with duos. Ed had Jamon Franklin, the whole time. And Jamon that's the twins' brother. I mean, unbelievable player. Doesn't get his due justice. Life happens too. He's another guy that should have played 4 years college basketball and been a Division I player. I mean, he's one of the most talented guys. You're talking about Ed Simpson. You're talking about Roger Sykes, Stacey St. Julian. Played a few minutes as a ninth grader, and then when he was a senior, he was kind of the guy, and it allowed him to where you're 20 points. It allowed him to put those 38, 40 point. He had a 40-point triple-double against Harrison Central. The next night, Roderick Sykes had a 40-point game versus. Yeah, so I mean, these guys make me look real good. I got a lot more gray hair now than I do then, but Ed Simpson, Roderick Sykes, Stacey St. Julian, Jamon Franklin has to be on there. Now, if you look in position, Christian Clark is the best assist-to-turnover ratio. He was plus, I think plus 132 his senior year. Assist-to-turnover ratio, that's crazy. Speedo Barlow is a 5'7" version. Christian Clark is 6'5". The same guy, but you got 6'5". You got there. Yeah. Jairus Carrier is the best post player we've had. I mean, Jairus Carrier, my second year, averaged 19 points, 15 rebounds in district championship year, our first together. So yeah, but I mean, the Jalen Letts and the Jonte Moultries and the Janice Andersons. I mean, there's. I know people will frown on this. Everybody, you get talking about Gulfport and you get talking about these people. Yeah. But in my tenure, during this time, our guys are as good as everybody.
Right.
Like now, we can't go back. Mahmoud, we can't do that. But in this time since I've been there, the guys that we've had against Gaucher's not talked about. Gaucher's had some unbelievable kids. Maybe the system maybe didn't fit what they did. They walk away from it. Lafayette Rutledge and those guys can go. You get a little better. You get a little stronger as you get older. So not talking about now. I'm talking about juniors, seniors in high school. Look, I'll take my guys.
Yeah.
If you can put them together, and I was able to, because some of these guys we're talking about in the same. Right. We were there.
Right.
So
there's some dogs now.
So yeah, those guys. I mean, those guys. People know who Charlie Pavlus is because of those guys. I'm. You got to be humble enough to those young men put food on the table. Basketball pays for everything. Yeah. And it's because of them that whatever people think about me, if I'm a good coach and if I'm whatever, and those guys are the ones doing the work. They do what's asked of them, and I love them, and I tell them every day I love them.
Yeah.
I treat them like my son.
Oh.
And it needs to be that way because they need us.
Oh, definitely, man. Definitely, man. Coach Pav, man, I'm not going to hold you all night, man. I really appreciate you coming on here, man. Don't let this be your last time, Coach, man. Had Coach Pav as a special guest today, man. Head coach of the high school basketball. There you go.
I've been the middle school head coach, too, My God.
Oh, yeah, man. I'm Coach Byes, man. It's SMACM World. I'm signing off. See you next time.
Yes, sir.
Man, appreciate it, Coach.
Yeah, Chico. Something said a bad guy. Yeah, Chico. Yeah, Chico. You're talking to the bad guy. Toothpick in your eye. I'm that guy. Hey, y'all. Look, something happened to these, something happened to you, okay?